Good evening. It is I, Ronkar. It is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. It was a very beautiful meditation centered on love, and it ended with your thinking about the love that you should give to yourself. And I would like to elucidate further on that at this time before we can begin our questions. And it simply is that loving yourself is doing what is best to bring about the best possible results within your own life. Some people think loving themselves means giving themselves things like new clothing or a new car or a manicure or something like that. But this is not what is loving yourself. It is not buying yourself or giving yourself things. It is doing those things that are right to make you happy and healthy and wise, so that you get to investigate and learn about the things that you need to know in your life. And this will help you to live a happier, healthier life, because your knowledge base is increased. And so you can act more carefully in many ways. And that is another point in being, in loving yourself, acting carefully to give yourself those things that you need to. One moment, please. The medium's body is having problems. Just a moment. I need to continue to or allow it to do it itself. I think that is the problem. Yes, now it is speaking correctly. And so when you take the right actions for yourself, like buying the right foods, cooking foods that are nutritious and healthy for yourself, getting adequate sleep, you are doing what is in your best interest, and it is an act of love in your life. Of course, when you are friendly to others and enjoying the company of others, you are acting lovingly toward others. And this is important, for having good relationships helps to ensure your own good mental health and your own well-being. And so acting in such ways as to develop and further such relationships is actually loving yourself. And as you send love out, as it is a truism that whatever you think about and whatever you do returns to you. And so if you think happy thoughts, if you think loving thoughts, so do you get to experience happiness and love returning to yourself. So it is important you remember these few simple lines of advice, that you should always take care of yourself in order to love yourself. And I hope that you can create a happy, healthy, prosperous life for yourself. And now I am ready to take your questions. And so, although the medium did not speak of it, it is quite informal. If no one else is speaking, if I have stopped speaking, then it is okay to ask a question. So this is your opportunity now, and I will be quiet until someone asks the question.
Well, I'll jump in if no one talks.
Thank you.
Hi there. Thank you, Ronkar. I won't be long because we have some new people and they're a little shy at first to ask a question, but I'll start it off. My husband went for a job interview, I guess now 2 months ago. And he had 2 interviews. They were quite lengthy. He was pretty excited about it. And then he ended up not getting it. Now, he said to the prospective employer, look, this is a retirement job. I'm not going to take your job. My husband was really overqualified for the position. He had more experience and knowledge, I would say, probably, at least not within the scope of that company, but in general terms, and a higher degree. I was wondering if it was age. I mean, now he's not going to file anything, but I'm just curious for myself. What happened at that job interview that sabotaged the fact that he didn't get the job? Thank you.
Oh, well, you have quoted him as telling the interviewer that this was a retirement job, and perhaps they did not want someone who considered this a retirement job because they might choose to leave the job. They wanted someone who had plans to stay a very long time so that they did not have to retrain and rehire someone new. And so, unfortunately, in this position, he somewhat disqualified himself because he indicated that, this is the perception of the interviewer, that he might not give his best to the job since it was a retirement job, and also that he might leave at any time since it was a retirement job. They wanted someone who wanted to continue to work. And as they saw that in another candidate, they decided to hire the other candidate.
I figured as much because I said to him, why did you say that? He said, well, I don't want them to feel that I'm threatening to them. He said, well, we're going to be here for at least 10 years. I'm not going anywhere. We live locally. We're around the corner from the company, blah, 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 But, he was very, very disappointed. And I'm very concerned about his job that he's currently doing. He has cataract surgery next month, and his job is to drive a truck now since he, stepped down from the position he originally had. Anything that you can guide me on as far as, and he's looked for jobs, I'm sorry, but I think there is age discrimination. Any other advice you can give for his job seeking? And of course, Raymond is also looking. So if there's anything, and he's had interviews as well, there's a lot out there. It's just landing the right ones for both of them. Thank you.
Yes, and you are worried perhaps that the surgery will impede his ability to drive, but it will probably correct what is necessary to allow him to see clearly, and will not cause him any difficulty about driving. And he will recover from it very quickly. It does not recover. It does not have a long recovery time. And so you need not worry about that. As for the other, for your son also who is looking for a job, you are correct in that there are many opportunities, and it is finding the right skill set and just the information that I do not need to say information, just to find the fit that will work out. And I'm sure your son will get better at interviewing, and he will soon land a job for himself in his chosen field. And as for your husband, I'm sure that he will find a retirement job for himself. And part-time jobs, of course, are easily retirement jobs. and they are less likely to be unhappy with the thought of someone leaving more quickly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want him part-time, but I mean, he's still young. He's only 59. Just physically, his job is very demanding for him, you know, getting in and out of a truck all day. One day he had like over 100 stops. He's 59 years old. It's ridiculous. People do pull off of his truck the remaining work that has to get done, but you know, it's a lot. We're in a compacted state. This isn't a rural area, you know, compared to like the Midwest, for example. So I just you know, plug along here and whatnot. So thank you very much. I'm going to let others have opportunity to ask questions. Thank you again, Ron Carr.
Yes, and feel free to ask more questions if no one is speaking up. Thank you.
You know,
I'd like to ask some questions.
Great.
My husband is battling metastasized cancer, and he was in remission for several years and came out of it. And he's in the process now of trying different procedures, treatments, I should say. And I'm just wondering, where are we headed?
May I ask his first name?
It's Ray.
Raymond.
Raymond.
And you have, it is, of course, the same last name as yourself. One moment, please. Unfortunately, with cancer, when you have affected a remission or a remission, and even are considered fully free of cancer for a period of time, when it returns, it has overcome the barriers that were last imposed upon it. I believe this cancer for him is the same as the one that he had before. Is that not correct?
Yes, it's the same. It's just metastasized to a different area of the body.
Yes. And it is difficult for me to give you great hope, but an attitude of confidence in himself and yourself as to finding the right treatments, which will once again put it into remission, is appropriate and possible for yourself. So you have to just think that he is going to have the right treatments to put this back in remission so that you can be positive about it. You must continue to say he is finding, or he finds, the right medications and the right treatments that eradicate this cancer from his body once again. And then he stands the best chance of prolonging his life and living as long a life as he can. But I must be honest, it is difficult when cancer invades the body for a second time, particularly in the metastasized state.
Right.
It is extremely difficult to eradicate. And you must be as positive as you can, even as you look at are aware of the possibilities that his transition is in your
Right.
future. But
Right.
you stand the best chance of finding the right treatments if one is available with the positive outlook.
Right. They're working on that and haven't quite found it yet, but are working on it.
That's nice.
Can I ask a second question?
You may ask as many as you wish.
Okay, I have my mother is in a nursing home in end stage dementia with no quality of life left. However, she will not let go. And I don't know how to try and get her to let go and transition.
I assume that you have told her that you love her very much and you will miss her, but that it is okay that she makes the transition. So that you have given her permission to make the transition. Otherwise, unfortunately, it remains a waiting game. And
Right.
I understand what you are saying about having no quality of life. And due to the fact that she has had severe dementia, you cannot see the normal symptoms that someone is nearing transition,
Right.
because she is not responding and has not been responding. And this will just continue to get more severe. So know that it is just a process and it takes time, that she will transition when she is comfortable with it. She is not the first person who has hung on, even when they wish to go.
Right.
Or many times the body is strong and it has a determination of its own, which has nothing to do with her spirit.
Okay. Great. One of the other question I had was my daughter just graduated college with high honors. Um, and she's looking to find a job, preferably that she can work from home to support her dad at this time. And it's been a difficult challenge for her. So I would like to just know where it's headed for her.
She wishes to work from home. It may be to her benefit to release that stipulation in the job she is looking for.
Okay.
To be willing to go into work, to establish with her employer, since COVID is no longer as active as it was or as strong as it was. It is now more difficult to find work from home because employers do like to have their employees present.
Right.
And as she is fresh out of college and does not have work experience, I know that she has worked, but has not been her career work.
Right.
And so it will be easier to find a job. The truth of the matter is, if she was working from home, she would have to concentrate on her work. She would not be as much a support to her father as she may think she is. She can go to work, she can come home, she can love him, be with him, when she is totally free of her work environment.
Right.
And that
Okay.
may be the best way for her to support her father. And it will also enable her to more quickly find a job that suits her for her employment in her career area and for what she thinks she will like the most. So
Yeah.
removing that stipulation of working from home is rather, that is the phrase, a sticking point.
Right. Okay.
for her being hired.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
The only other question I would have is, am I going to be okay through all of these challenges?
Are you going to be, I missed a word.
Am I going to be okay spiritually, mentally with all these challenges that I'm dealing with right now?
Of course you will. Is it not true that you managed to deal with all the other crises that have happened in your life?
Yeah, there's been many.
There's been many, and you've dealt with all of them. It may have been difficult, and yes, it would be so good if you did not have the worry over your mother, and you are worrying a bit about your daughter also,
Yes.
as well as your husband. And so you have all these things on your mind. The solution for you at this time is affirmations. And I would like you to think of some affirmations that you can make on a daily basis. Sit down and write them out on paper. And they can read. What is your daughter's name?
Jillian.
Joanne. I know.
No, it's Jillian.
Jillian. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jillian with a J. Yeah.
I, yes, Jillian has found the perfect job for herself. I know that Jillian has found the perfect job for herself. I know that she is gainfully employed, and please be sure to put that in the present tense, not she will be, but she is already gainfully employed, because in your mind, you must move out to the point where she is gainfully employed. I know Mother has made a safe transition. She is at peace, and I am happy that my mother is now totally at peace. I am happy that Jillian has found the perfect job. I am happy that we have found the correct treatment for my husband's cancer. And it seems it is working perfectly. Not it seems, I was going to say that we have found the perfect treatment for my husband's cancer. And it is working perfectly. I give thanks. I am happy that my husband's cancer is already in remission.
Okay.
Making statements like that is what
Right.
you need to do. And by writing them down so that you remember them from day to day will be
Okay.
the most important. And you can say them in the mornings, you can say them at lunchtime, you can say it at supper, and you can say it before you go to sleep. And this will give you all the courage and strength that you need to carry you through these next few months. And I know that in just a few months, you will have found that half of these things are gone from your mind and not for you to worry about at this time. And you can just concentrate on being positive about your husband's situation and know that you will handle everything perfectly. I competently and handle all the issues in my life in every day. And so it is. So make a good statement about yourself so
Okay.
that you are stronger and stronger from day to day.
Great. Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Are there other questions that anyone has? Robin, do you have another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. My husband just walked in. Hold on a second, please. If someone else, Mahesh, if you want to jump in.
No, that's fine. We can be patient.
Well, what, Mark? Okay, sorry about that. Someone did a remote view, and I was curious to know. He said upwards of $10 a gallon at the end of the year. And of course, people are trying to speculate about the midterm elections and whatnot. What kind of read are you getting regarding all of that and gas prices toward the end of the year? Thank you.
Well, I do not think they will be quite as high as that, but they will continue to go up. The midterm elections will not have an effect upon the price of gas. Even if there is a change on the both houses of Congress, first of all, they are not sworn into their posts until January, and so nothing can begin. Most of the reasons that the gasoline has gotten so high has been for restrictions that have been placed upon the gas and oil companies, which has made it more difficult for them to increase production. Your president says that they are not doing these things. Well, they are not doing these things because the agencies at his direction have make it more difficult for the oil and gas companies to produce or to bring new technologies on board or to expand their technologies. So therefore, nothing is going to be done until the new Congress can make laws which essentially take away the power to make restrictions and make demands that are made by all the agencies that govern your country, because there are the laws of Congress, but it is the agencies that say how these laws are going to be brought forth. And the legislature has not, and because of the current mix of the legislature, which is extremely close, both sides being nearly equal, with the Democrats in greater power, they have not wanted to limit any of the president's power in any way. They actually applaud what is going on. And as a result, it will continue until you can effect a change in the legislature. And then it will still take time. So you will have the high gasoline prices for quite some time. Are there further questions?
Well, that's definitely going to impact the economy. A lot of people aren't going to be able to afford the higher cost of fuel. I know my son Raymond pointed out that, gee, Mom, that's the price of fuel in Europe. But Americans have been very, very spoiled for a long time. And so how do you see that impacting the economy as a whole? And are we going to be remote, from our workplaces more so as well, and more demand to stay home and not go into the office because of this? Thank you.
There may be more demand to not go into the office, but it is still up to the employers on whether that demand will be met. And it is possible that there may be openings, but it is the lower class people that, in the sense of wage earners, those people who earn less will have more difficulty dealing with the high gas prices, and will need to find work closer to home, doing what they can do. It is extremely probable that the country will go into a recession, and people will have a great deal of difficulty. And your son pointing out that this is the same price that gasoline goes for in Europe does not mean anything, in that life in the United States is quite a bit different than life in Europe, that countries are set up differently, job expectations are different, and as a result, it does not matter that they have had these high gasoline prices for some time. They are already accustomed to working under them, and they will have the same difficulty because their gasoline prices will continue to increase also. So it will be a difficult time for the United States, no matter what happens at the midterm.
And other people were speculating that Trump wasn't going to run at all in 2024. There have been others that have been, bantered about.
Well, I'm not taking that question about who will be running in 2024. I am not taking that question.
Oh, come on. Thank you. No problem. Next person.
Yes, if there is someone else. And it seems like we have been joined by one or two others. If you have any questions, would you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Herr Onkar?
Oh, yes, Mahesh.
Mahesh, yeah. By the end of August, I'm my son Gayatri. We are going to India. And we'll be living there for like 6 months or so.
Yes.
I have 3 projects on hand. One is to furnish and to renovate my apartment, the whole apartment.
Yes, you need to furnish your apartment?
Yeah, renovate and furnish both, because it has been there for like 20 years and I have not taken much care of it. So some renovation is needed. And also I'll furnish the whole apartment, furnishing. So I'm going to employ an interior designer. Yeah, and his name is Sagar, Sagar, Sagar.
Okay.
Will he do a good job if I employ him for the interior design work?
Is he going to send you pictures of what he is going to do or he is suggesting?
Yes, he will do everything like 3D pictures, how the apartment will look like if we do this way and if we do that way. So how the apartment will look like. So he will send me and Soham both 3D pictures and explain to us. So shall we suggest him certain thing, work with him, or we'll just leave him alone and he will do his job good?
I understand that it is a difficult question since you will not be there. Can you trust him?
No, I will be there. I will be there. I will be there when I go to India.
Oh, well, you will
Soham will not be there. Soham will be here. But I will be when he works. So is he a good person? Like he will be, his competence and more creative person, and will he do a good job?
And his name again is?
Sagar, Sagar, Sagar.
Yes, Sagar. One moment. I find him to be competent, and he does um, provide the work that you need. He will do that competently, buying the furnishings for you. I believe that is some of what you are doing, or are you making walls and construction?
That will be limited. Walls and construction will be limited. Like just I'm trying to change the bathroom layout,
You're fixing the bathroom.
changing the pipes, changing the water pipes, but mostly it will be whole furnishing the apartment, like for the interior designer to do.
Yes, I do not find him to be the most creative, but that is often a good thing, because he will keep his eyes down to his suggestions to what is practical and will work well. And since you will be there to choose the
Material.
building materials, is what I mean to say, such as when you are in the bathroom, you working on the bathroom, you will be able to purchase and use the materials that you feel are attractive and will complement his designs. You will be able to do that. So between your being there, you will be able to lend your own expertise and experience that you have had to make correct decisions. And that is what is most important. And now you have Soham as your consultant in the United States, and he can advise you if he sees something, but you being there will be enough to keep the designs practical and comfortable, which is what you want. Not, and of course, that will bring about its own beauty, because it will be beautiful to your eyes. And that is important. I think he will do a good job for you, because you will be there and you will work with him to see that he does a good job.
Okay, so I should take interest in buying the material. Like if sofa, if you want to go for a sofa, then the sofa material and the cloth, the tapestry and all that, I think I should select with Soham. You know, I can just to Soham, and Soham can tell me what is good, what will look good.
Yes, you can look at this and determine its quality yourself. And you can tell Soham what you like, and he will probably concur that your choices are good.
Okay.
Have faith in yourself to make the right decisions.
I'm sorry?
Have faith in yourself to make the right decision. And you will.
Yeah, but if I work with him, if I work with Sagar, he will be okay with that, isn't it? He won't mind it that I'm interfering in his work or anything of that sort.
No, just when you make it clear that as you are going to be present, you want to approve his choices.
Okay.
And that way it will be already, it'll be predetermined now that you will have to approve, and therefore he can accept the job or not. And of course he wants the job.
Okay, sure.
So as long as you don't drive him crazy by making changes all the time.
Yes, I understand.
Yes, he will work with you very well.
Okay, sure. The second project I have is my dental implant.
Oh, yes.
The all the teeth. So the doctor will take out all the teeth, and
Yes.
that will be whole implant. And the doctor's name is Dr. Hitendra, Hitendra, Hitendra.
Okay.
To him for many years. I know him for many years, and I've been going to him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Either work the entire implant is a major work. So will that work out well with him?
Will you be all
Dr.
right with
Hitendra.
him? Well, you have worked with him for a very long time, so that
Yes.
you know
But this is
that.
this is a major project. The whole implant is a big deal.
Yes, he is generally competent. And so that you, it is better to trust someone that you know than to seek someone new. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because you have worked with him in the past and you can ask your questions, and he knows that you have been a loyal patient and he will do his best for you. And so that is all you need to know.
Sure. And the third big project is to take the apartment back. I have given my apartment to my brother, and he's grown up now. His daughter has her master's degree in accounting, and the son will have his bachelor's degree in engineering in this March 23. And I want to take the apartment back. That's a big, I think, I don't know.
That is your most difficult task.
Yeah, most difficult task. So he will become the BE, bachelor's in electronic engineering, computer engineering in the March 23. And
I'm sorry.
he will become bachelor's in computer engineering. He will be a computer engineer in March 2023.
Well,
So,
all these things you look at as justification that now his children are all successful and they will be successful in the case of the last one. And therefore, you can, he will still be reluctant to leave the apartment. And you just have to be firm and say, I need to live here. I am coming back and I need to move into my apartment, and give him a date that you would like to take over the apartment. And he might object, but then you can say, okay, tell me when you will be able to vacate the apartment so that I can begin my renovation and come back to India.
no, it is not the same apartment, Ronkar. It's a different apartment.
Oh, it's a different apartment.
Yeah, I have just bought for him and gave it to him. I have another apartment.
Oh, you gave him another apartment?
No, yeah, I gave him another apartment. It was 23 years back, just to leave him when the kids were not there. So I gave him I bought an apartment. I gave it to him, but now I think I should take it back. And his son, who is a bachelor's in engineering, he should stand on his own feet. That's what I want. He should be on his own.
Yes.
So I want to take that apartment back, and his son should take care of his family.
I see. That is the Indian way. Yes. Okay. Will probably still be some difficulties in achieving what you wish to achieve, but negotiation will make it happen.
Negotiation in which way? Negotiating how, which means convincing him, or?
Perhaps the son will work to pay you for the apartment and they will keep it.
Oh, is that so? Because he says he doesn't have money.
But the son will have money. You are expecting the son to take care of his father.
But
Will that happen?
his degree will be complete. He will be an engineer by March 2023. He will be an engineer. So I want to find a job and be on his own and take care of his family.
And your brother will have to leave his apartment?
Yes,
The apartment
the whole family. they will rent an apartment, another apartment, and they will be, I mean, they will try to manage that on their own.
Well, that you will try to enforce that.
Okay.
I cannot tell you exactly if you will be successful in this task, as many years have occurred. And when you say you gave him an apartment, I am not sure if you are saying that you gave him the deed to the apartment or just permission to live there for a period of time.
Just
But
permission.
Either way,
Just the permission to live there. He doesn't have papers. It is in my name. I am the owner. I pay taxes. I pay maintenance. So it is in my name.
and so
Any paper.
as any tenant, I do not know the laws in India, but
He is not my tenant. He is not my tenant. He doesn't pay rent.
well, I understand that, but you still have to ask him to leave.
Okay.
And that will be the difficulty. He has thought that he will be able to live there forever until he dies.
That's what he thinks.
Yes. So you will have to ask him to leave, and then you will see if there is no difficulty or will be well.
Okay. But do you have a way to say how it will go like at the end?
I'm
Do
sorry.
you have a way? Can you tell me how it will go at the end? Will I be able to get this apartment back? Or
Well, you own it, so that
Yes, I own
you
it,
will get
yes.
it back, but it may not be easy.
Okay. Yeah, it will not be easy.
No. So
Yeah, these are the 3 projects. Thank you very much, Antar.
you are welcome. Are there any other questions?
I have 2. My going back to my daughter Jillian, she was a political science major, and we're a Democratic family, so she's a little confused about what area of the politics, being in politics, will best suit her. I was wondering if the spirit guides have any answers of that.
Well, when you are starting out in any job, you are well aware that you're not going to find the perfect job to begin with. And particularly in politics, there are many different levels of politics. Does she wish to work on the municipal level? That is finding a job with your municipal government or your county government or your state government. Does she wish to move into the other administrative tasks, such as being in charge of clean air, environmental things, zoning applications? There are so many different areas that she could become a
Voice.
begin to take action in any of these areas. So therefore, she just needs to find a job in government to get herself acquainted with government, because what she has learned in school is all very well, but it doesn't really acquaint her how government runs on a day-to-day basis, how one department interfaces with another department. How do they talk to one another? How do they discuss what they need to have happen within the town or the county or whatever it happens to be the level that she is working at the state level? There are, jobs for beginners at the state level. And
Right.
she needs to start no higher than the state level to work. And she may be doing what is the equivalent of secretarial work. Just because she has a degree in political science may or may not qualify her. Now, working for a candidate on the candidate's campaign will be a job that is open. If she has graduated, she may be able to be in that position. They are looking for people who will work at that level. And so she
Right.
can work in a campaign, and therefore get to know someone who is at some level of importance within the government.
Yes, I think that's where she needs to be.
That's, yes. And so she just needs to maybe find someone in particular she would like to campaign for. That would be very nice. But if she can't find that job, working for anyone else at that level can be accomplished, and she is sure to find a job because
Yes,
they
I
will
think
need people. And so that is my suggestion.
great, thank you. And she is young. She graduated at 21, so she has a little time yet, I think. My other question was, I've been told by many people that I'm an empath, and I was just wondering if the guides agree with that.
Well, the understanding of what an empath is, it varies from person to person as they are using it. Usually, an empath is someone who can be aware of the feelings and emotions of others. They are people who tend to be sensitive themselves, sensitive to what people say about them. Maybe they are hurt, or they feel people's anger perhaps before it is expressed, or feel people's unhappiness and make emotional contact with people. That is usually what an empath refers to. Is that the way you are using the word?
Yeah, that's me.
And so, all right, so then you are an empath. And what does that mean for you? That means being entirely sensitive. You can either discreetly allow yourself to feel the emotions of others, or if you do not like feeling all those things, if it bothers you, you can shut yourself down by not reaching out the way you do subconsciously. You see,
Right.
when you are an empath, you're often trying to understand what motivates people and why they do things. And by recognizing that that's what you do, and then you manage to end up with all their emotions and sometimes their emotional baggage.
Drains you.
Yes, you don't want to do that. So what you need to do is, in a sense, stop that searching and do not sympathize with the people that you are feeling. And because to try, I don't know what to say here, but you cannot be in sympathy with others all the time. You need to have time for yourself and just not experience the emotions and, in a sense, the thoughts. You may not be getting really the thoughts. You may be just picking up on their emotions. And as a result, you need to have free time. I don't know how else to put it, where you are either in a place of your own in which no one else is near you, so you have peace and quiet to read a book, watch TV, paint your toenails, do anything that you wish in peace. So
Right.
you need to take time for yourself. And the way to do that is separate yourself. Do not allow people to impose on you by asking you questions about what they should do, or listening if you do not wish to listen to their sob stories, because that is what you will get a lot of. Their sob stories about all the things that are going wrong in their life. Well, it is up to you to say, I'm sorry, but I can't listen to you right now, and make a quick exit.
Right. Okay. Thank
And
you.
that is what you have to do, is not allow people to infringe on yourself and take away and expect you to give them help or solace or sympathy or solutions or any of the things they're demanding of you. These things you do not give to others unless you choose to give them.
Okay. Thank you.
You are most welcome.
Bronco, I want to go back to what Mahesh was talking about earlier, because I had work done in my own home, and he basically abandoned us. He said that he had work that he had to finish up from the first agreement that he made with whomever, a work job, and then he said he had another one. What was really going on behind the scenes? Because now we're left high and dry. He was doing paint, flooring, and electrical. And now I'm scrambling. I have someone for electrical. I'm going to my own company now for flooring. I was trying to help him up financially. This is a neighbor friend of mine who's painted my room before inside, and I'm really beyond frustrated. If you saw, well, you could see my house. You can come inside and take a look around, and you will see that it's really not the great living condition right now. There's nothing in the bedroom except a bed. So if you can help me out on where I can find people to help out with the flooring that he screwed up, and all the rest. Thank you. If you need more clarity, I'll be more than happy to go
Yes,
on.
well, it is difficult because everyone is looking for others to do work and to work for themselves. Many businesses are looking for employees. Now, you tried to help out the neighbor, and that was your mistake. That the man obviously has other work that he is doing, and he has put your work to the side because you are a friend of his. Is that not correct?
Correct.
And so you either have to get firm with him and say, you must come and finish what you have started, or, it's going to be difficult to overcome what he has said or started, excuse me. Now you have someone finishing up the electrical, which he did not finish, and you are now looking for someone to work on the floor, which is not correct. So I can only suggest that you go to a company that is known to be reputable, that does does these kind of services, and employ someone from a place like that. And that is probably the best way. Hopefully you have not paid your friend who is taking advantage of you too much money, but it is whatever it is going to be for you. But you have to find someone else to finish the work that he has not completed, and hopefully you can either get money back or you simply will not pay him the money because he did not finish the work. And perhaps you should threaten him with that if you have not paid him the money.
No, he wanted money every day. He wanted his money up front every single day. And I should have known that was a warning, because when he painted the house before, it was, I can't remember. I think he got all the money at the end. And I figured, well, maybe he's struggling a little more than normal. His wife doesn't work. The kids are in college and whatnot. And I thought, okay, I'll help him out. Plus the fact there was really, the way he was going to do it was each room from top to bottom. ceiling, walls, electrical, flooring, and then moved to the next room. And me and my husband really liked that because that way you can move furniture from one room to the other and you know it's already done. We thought that he knew vinyl plank flooring, which he does not. He's done real wood flooring in friends of ours, including his own house, beautiful as it may be. Vinyl plank repeats itself. And that was my fault because I should have studied a little more, even though I was doing the grunt work for flooring. I don't work in the flooring department. He said he had worked with the material before, and then he sets up 3 different patterns in the room. Now I've had people come in and that you can see loose board, like it's not clicked in right because it's a click in kind of system. And we're worried about a couple of boards that really aren't in well. And we thought, well, maybe we'll tackle it. And my husband said, boy, it's really hard to disconnect the boards. I mean, you really have to work at it without destroying the board, in order for it to click back in again. And our company that we subcontract through said that they will not touch an opened box because they guarantee the work. They don't know where the flooring's been. It's the same thing when I sell a dryer. We can't use old connections because we don't know the condition of them. If the house goes up in flames or whatever, we can't, for liability reasons, we're in the same position. So I get all that, but it's frustrating. He went through 17 boxes with a closet and a 15 by 15 room. So all I can say to you, Mahesh, is just make sure that everything's in writing and that you have an agreement and it's 3rd in the beginning, 3rd in the middle, and 3rd at the end. Unlike what happened to me, because now I have to either tear it up, just discard 17 boxes of flooring. We have to finish the painting. He did an amazing job of paint. He didn't even finish the doors or the trim. And that's where we're at. So if you can guide me as to where to find somebody, where I should be focusing my attention in creating this reality, because I didn't expect this reality, that I can tell you. We thought he was going to move forward and with all good intentions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I wish that I could be more helpful in that area, but I cannot, simply because I cannot find a solution to you for you that does not involve your loss. And you will probably have to take a loss on some of the work that was done so that you can get it corrected properly. And, you can have the flooring that you like down correctly. So I just can't answer your question because I cannot see who will work and give you a name or any of the details that you need to find an affected person, other than that you go to someone other than your friend, because you will be able to feel more demanding then. And do not pay him up front or at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was my mistake, like I said. And I should have, and then he said, well, and he left his tools in the house. How about this one, Mahesh? He left the tools in the house, and then he said, well, maybe I can come back and do painting. He never had any intention of doing it, but he wanted to make an excuse. And I did give him the keys to the house, figuring while I was at work, he can come in. He's a trusted friend. I never had a problem before. And then he hands me the key en route to getting his equipment. And he said, well, I'll call you in a couple of days to see if I can at least do painting. He only said that to get into the house, to get his gear, because he needed it for the other job. And I should have said, well, I'd like the key back, or maybe not even give him the key in the beginning. And then I could have said, well, I can hold your equipment hostage. I mean, you're not finishing the work that you promised me that you were going to do. I understand someone else was in the wings in the past. The material came in and he wants you to move. And then he also complained about what he charged me per hour. He said he was on the ground for $20 an hour and it was, tiring work and he was exhausted. And I said, we would have paid you whatever rate you wanted. You agreed to do a job for us. We don't know the rate. That's something you said. We're not painters or anything. We weren't trying to screw our friend over. But when I found out what normal painting and all that work entails, he actually underbid himself. So me and my husband are like, okay, we basically paid for painting and light electrical work. He didn't do everything. He didn't finish everything electrically even. So that's where we're at. And, it's very frustrating. I'm looking right now in the basement. There's boxes here. I'm trying to find an iron so that Raymond's shirt can be ironed in order to go for a job interview. I had to literally go into my husband's closet. Actually, there's nothing in the closet. I had to go into Raymond's closet and get a shirt out of my husband for Raymond to go on an interview tomorrow, because we brought all the stuff down here. We didn't think it would take this long to move this project along. So, that is what it is, but I'm just trying to figure out why Sergey left. What was the core issue of why he left? Was it a disagreement with us? Was it just, he was just trying to get over on it? What happened? Thank you. And thank you, Mahesh, for reminding me of something
Thank
that
you. Thank
I
you
really
also.
don't.
I'll keep this in mind.
Yes, sir.
It is difficult. Yes. And it is time for me to go, so that we cannot speak much longer. And I could not answer your question. And you were asking what was the reason. I cannot give you that answer either. If he is getting paid a higher rate at the other job, perhaps he underbid himself because you were a friend, and that is the reason why he is not helping you, but he is not working properly. And no matter what he has said he would work for, it is now time for you to recoup the best that you can do for yourself. And that is what it is. At this time, it is time for me to say goodnight. And so Juana will be here in a moment, and I give you all my blessings. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Hi, I'm back. Okay, it is the end of the evening. I just came through to say good night. Remember, I love you all. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, I'm back. And you see, I have to stop the recording. What? Okay, all right, Julia, good night. Bye-bye.